during that time.
Right, absolutely.
And omega-3s, which are very good at lowering prostaglandins. Women with painful periods have been shown to have 4 times the amount of excess prostaglandins as women without painful periods. So it's just so cool how the seeds just line up in that way to support the different phases of your cycle that you are needing. It's important when you're seed cycling to be consistent for 3 cycles, because what you're doing right now is going to impact your corpus luteum, your egg quality, 3 months from now. So it takes about 90 days for that whole follicle journey. So if you think about, like, the follicle is what's going to release that egg.
Right.
And so when that egg reaches maturity is about 90-ish days or 3 cycles. So what you're doing right now is impacting your egg quality 3 months from now or 3 cycles from now. Okay. And this has been proven so much. It's so crazy to me when people, have poor egg quality and they think like, oh, that's it. There's nothing I can do. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much you can do.
Right.
So whenever you're doing anything with your hormones and your cycle, it's very, very, very important. You have to be consistent for at least 3 cycles before you write something off, because that's about how much time you need to notice those big differences. And seed cycling is incredible, and it is such a simple thing that you can do that supports the rise and fall of your hormones. But it is one part of your puzzle piece.
Absolutely.
It's not like you're going to seed cycle and then your life is healed and all your issues go away.
Dang, if it was that easy. Well, thank you for sharing so much about that, really. And it just goes to show, like, how much healing we can do within just, like, natural foods and within our bodies. Because, like you mentioned previously in the episode, was like, sometimes their go-to is to just put you on birth control. But that's not the case. Like, we need to figure out how we can balance our hormones naturally so that, like you said, we can have those painless periods and continue to live a life of fullness, so that, like yourself, you're a mom. Like, did you did seed cycling before you had your kids?
Before my second kid.
Okay.
So I learned more about seed cycling when I was pregnant with my first kiddo. So, and that's where it's like, I got there with balanced hormones without seed cycling. So when people are like, I can't seed cycle, I'm allergic to a certain seed. I'm like, you don't have to. It's not an integral part of your hormone journey, but I would say that is one of the easiest things that people can do.
Right.
So I'm like, if you have no idea where to start with seed cycling, and it creates this beautiful ritual around your cycle too, and it's something you're doing for your body every single day, and that does have a big compound effect. And 100% seed cycled in between my 2 kids.
Did you feel like there was a difference in, like, your pregnancy or anything by seed cycling, or you didn't really notice a difference?
I can't really say that I noticed a difference, mostly from seed cycling, simply because I had already gotten painless periods at that point. So it wasn't like that made such a massive difference, because I was already coming back into my cycles between my kids, and they were okay. They were not painful at all.
Right.
So I can't really say that. I did notice, like, the biggest difference with my second pregnancy was in minerals, bringing in more mineral support. And I did incorporate seeds into my second pregnancy as well, but not in a cycling way. Everyone's like, well, how do I cycle if I don't have a cycle when I'm pregnant? It's like, you don't. You just can eat them as, like, a very nutritious and awesome food, just not in any type of cyclical way. They're an amazing source of fiber. I'm telling you, you guys, like, they're an amazing source of fiber. And everyone always has trouble getting in enough fiber, and you should be pooping every single day, ladies. Every single day at a minimum. So if you need to get that extra fiber in, another great way to do it.
That's a very good thing. It's crazy because, like, I have normal bowel movements. So when I hear people like they don't use the bathroom for like 2, 3, 5, 7 days, I'm like, no, that's not good.
But it is, like, so insane how that's been normalized. Like, if you go to your doctor and they're like, oh, it's fine as long as you're pooping once a week. I'm like, once a week?
No, and I feel like that would be so painful.
Ah, yes, and no wonder people always feel so bloated. Like a minimum, you should be pooping a minimum of 1 time a day.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's so good. Just go towards that direction for a second.
Yes.
I love it. So you talked about how important it is. I want to emphasize that again, is just like making sure they're organic and whole, and then grinding them up yourself, because like you said, they can go bad. And I actually learned that from your episode that you did. So I'll definitely link that in the show notes so that people can listen to that episode as well, because I feel like there's a lot of valuable information in that.
Yeah, and I think you're referencing the episode I did with Kate Morton, right? With Funk It Wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a registered dietitian and I think also integrative now. And she introduced me to her seed cycling kit when I was, I think it was like, I was a few months postpartum with I was like a year. So I'd already been incorporating seed cycling myself for quite some time.
Okay.
And I always had flax seeds in my husband's coffee grinder. And he's like, this is disgusting. Because you have to grind your seeds. And,
right.
I had to do that and it was fine. And so she was just such a blessing because she gets organic B Corp certified and then she grinds them right before she sends them to you. So
that's
they're
awesome.
Pre-ground, but like not rancid because you know what time they were ground.
Right.
And that saved our coffee grinder and my husband's coffee.
He's probably like, praise the Lord. Yes. I don't have to taste that anymore.
Yeah, he's like, why are there flax seeds in my coffee grinder? I'm like, because my hormones need them.
Right. So you talked about like being consistent with this, but this is not like the only thing. What do you like? What are like 2 or 3 more things that someone can really combine this with to kind of lead them on the right journey?
Do we get to talk about blood sugar balance? Because I could talk about that till I'm blue in the face too.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. I love it.
So when it comes to your health, like I said, it's so important to be consistent because you have that 90 days. Like you have all of those 3 cycles that you really want to see that change. Mm-hmm. But it comes down to consistency. And right. Seed cycling is something so simple. Everybody should be doing it. And then the other thing that everybody should be doing is balancing their blood sugar. Because blood sugar, insulin, glucose, they go into, I would call it, whichever way you want to think about it, like the foundation of your house or like the top of your funnel. However your mind visually likes to look at that, you cannot have balanced hormones without balanced blood sugar. End story. Good. It's impossible. Because every time you are on a blood sugar roller coaster, cortisol is going to also be on a roller coaster as right. well. And, pregnenolone is from which you make cortisol and progesterone. So it's like, if we're just on these like roller coasters all day of cortisol and blood sugar, how on earth are we going to balance our sex hormones, right?
Right.
And how on earth are we going to lower inflammation in our body? And we have just been so, coined? I don't know.
It's just become so normalized.
Yes, exactly that you only care about blood sugar if you are diabetic or type 2 diabetes. And I'm like, well, how do we get to type 2 diabetes? Because it is a lifestyle disease. Right. It is. And we get there by not being educated and just being told, oh yeah, spiking your blood sugar is fine. Your body knows how to bring it down. It does. But if you are on this roller coaster all the time, right. that is how we end up with type 2 diabetes, you know, not nourishing our bodies, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough protein, not balancing our blood sugar. And it is insane to me, how much mental health is linked to blood sugar. And we think I have no willpower. Mm-hmm. And I can't stick to anything. I'm not consistent. I don't have energy in the afternoon. Hangry is my personality. You guys, you just need to balance your blood sugar.
Right.
You'll become a new human.
It's more of like they just want to fix it rather than like, let's get ahead of it and what can we do now to make sure that we don't get to that point, like a preventive.
Exactly. And our healthcare is, I mean, just think about how much money people make off of insulin. Like, that is a crime. Like, that is downright a crime.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, you know, a lot of these things, they are preventative, but it's like we aren't doing, and we're not being taught anything about prevention. We're just, you know, given a pill for an ill. And so blood sugar balance is actually quite simple. If you're looking at your plate, you want half your plate to be non-starchy veggies. Think like leafy greens, carrots, you know, things like that. Broccoli, cauliflower. And then a quarter of your plate is protein, and then a quarter is fat and carb. So literally that simple. I aim typically to get a gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Okay. And that sometimes terrifies people, but if you are getting in enough protein, and I feel like we can't dive that much into this because this episode will never end. Right. About, like, protein, but when you can stack your protein like morning and night, you guys, you will notice such a difference in your energy. You'll notice such a difference in your mental health. You'll notice such a difference in your cravings. And that is just so crazy to me. You thought you had an addiction to sugar, but in reality, you just need to balance your blood sugar and you need to get your protein intake up. Most people are not intaking enough protein.
Right.
And when you can do that, and, you know, it may take a couple weeks for you to really nail your blood sugar balance. I always recommend starting with breakfast. Some of my favorite breakfasts are, I will do chicken sausage and eggs with some fruit. Super easy to hit like 35, 40 grams of protein doing that.
Right.
I have this like really bougie oatmeal concoction, which please nobody think that you need to reenact this because I fully like agree that it's bougie and unnecessary, but I will do chicken sausage. I butcher this name. I think it's Amylu, Amylu.
I feel like I've seen that.
I don't know how to say it. Their chicken sausage is so good, so I will do that one. And then I put like I make my oats, and I do like a quarter cup of 1 degree, which are glyphosate-free oats. And I start cooking them. And when they're almost done, I add in 1 serving of 7 Sundays oats. Remember I said this was bougie? This is so unnecessary, but it's so good. I will do their wild berry because they have protein oats. And so they also have some protein in there. So I mix those two. And then because I'm extra bougie, I will add in I'll either do Organifi vanilla, like a half a scoop of their protein, or I will do 1 scoop of Paleo Valley bone broth, vanilla protein. And I don't mix my oats and my chicken sausage. Like, these are 2 separate entities.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, do you put the chicken sausage in there?
They're like same meal, 2 separate plates.
Got you.
And then I top my seeds on top of my oats, and I hit about 40 grams of protein with that breakfast. Wow. And it is so good. And it's so packed full of fiber. So that one's really good. And then so easy with chicken sausage to add your veggies, guys. Like, saute up some spinach with it. My favorite is pepper. I'll always do like bell peppers because they're really high in vitamin C. Those are 2 of my favorite. And then my last one would probably be, this one's more like if I'm on the go, is I will get Greek yogurt. I actually just make my own because, again, we're going on the bougie factor. I fully committed to this role. Well,
yogurt has like so many additives. Like, I can't find a yogurt that doesn't have 95 additives.
I'll get raw milk from a farmer, and then I make my own Greek yogurt. And so I'll get a serving of that, and then I'll typically do a serving of protein powder. And this is my like on the go, like I need something faster because obviously it doesn't take much time. And I'll add some chicken sausage on the side because that takes like 2 minutes to, heat up in a pan. It's really simple. So that's my like fast, like you don't have any time. So yeah, I guess the theme of it is I eat a lot of chicken sausage for breakfast.